morning, everybody. Namaskar. My name is Purnima. Let's get started with a wonderful conversation today. We have Rakhi Mitra, BJP West Bengal Secretary, joined us talk about the West Bengal violence on Hindus. Rakhi ji, thank you so much for being with us. It's our pleasure to hear you and also understand what's going on. Let's directly get down to the situation. Please tell us what is happening currently, right now.
Well, the pleasure is mine because people who stay abroad, at least they should, the NRIs, for whom the root of the country matters. Your country too matters. Maybe you are staying somewhere else, but you were born in India. That matters to you. It's good to see that it still matters to you and you want to know what is happening here. So, first of all, let me tell you, in West Bengal right now, there's a lot happening. West Bengal, we have always faced violence during the elections, but this time it was not before the elections exactly. It had started in 2017 after the Panchayat elections. You may have a different ideology, you may belong to a different party, but the constitution gives right to everybody to practice on their own, whatever they feel like. But in West Bengal, you do not have that right. During the Panchayat elections, 30,000 of BJP candidates were not allowed to contest the elections. And this time, we saw a lot of bloodshed, and the bloodshed that has really started, it's after the 2nd of May when they declared the results and Mamata Banerjee came back to power for the third time. Somehow this time it feels a little bit different. Last time she came back to power, but BJP wasn't so strong at that time. But this time she knows that it is only BJP which can bring her down in the next election or maybe in the coming corporation elections. So it seems she has just given an open order. Get them. Get the BJP Karyakartas. You burn their houses, you loot their houses, you rape and molest their women. You see to it that within the next 7 months or 6 months, whatever, we have some corporation elections coming up. There should not be a single person who would agree to become a BJP candidate, or there should not be BJP Karyakartas to hold the BJP flag. That she has ensured this time. And one more thing she is doing, she has started collecting jazia which we had read in our history books, which was collected by from the non-Muslims. It is being collected from the non-TMC people. They are coming down, shutting your house, your business, everything, and then you are allowed to open your business only once you pay that jazia. That tax you have to pay. And suppose if she is telling you that today you have to come and meet us and pay 2 lakh rupees, if you go the next day or the day after, the tax is increasing. It's not that it remains 2 lakh even if you go and decide to pay after 4 or 5 days. The amount is increasing. After that, you have to go and give it in writing that you will never be doing BJP ever again in your life. It has to be in writing. Then they will allow you to do your business or open your shop or whatever business establishment you have. This is happening in Canning, East Canning. There's an area called East Canning in 24 Parganas, South 24 Parganas. There, people, they were forced to leave their houses when they heard that something was, they heard something on a microphone mic that they were asking people that you can come back now. So when they neared the village, they heard that yes, you can come back, but you have to pay that amount. Until and unless you pay an amount of 2 lakh 80,000, depends on your house. Only then you can come back to your house and you can stay in your village. In certain areas in Kolkata, one of the posh areas is, you ask anybody, it's Salt Lake. In those areas, fathers are being called up and said that if you give us your 21-year-old daughter, hand her over to us, then we will let you live in your area. Otherwise, we will not. Girls are being called to the TMC offices and they are slapped by all the men sitting there. It's an order given by the TMC councillors that slap them. These are the girls who are holding the flag of BJP. So slap them. I'm giving you an order. Just get up and start slapping them. You will find those girls with swollen faces. That is happening in Kolkata. So if you are talking of Kolkata, this is what is happening. And in the villages, the condition is all the more terrible.
Rakhi, you mentioned about jizya. How is that legal in a democratic country? I thought Aurangzeb died long time ago. What happened to India? Please explain.
Uh, it's not India, it's West Bengal that has happened. The demography of West Bengal has changed. If you go to Murshidabad area, since last year, they have started issuing fatwas in the villages. The population has totally drastically changed. It's more of Muslim population and Hindus are a minority there. So they have already started issuing fatwas. When you are issuing a fatwa, that means what? You are going towards Sharia law. There's a person here called Abbasuddin Siddiqui. If you have heard his name, he has opened, he has a new organization, a party, which he calls the Indian Secular Front. There is nothing secular in it. He openly claims that his party will be working only for Muslims. But the name of the party is Indian Secular Front. So this man, one day he came on a TV show and he was talking about an MP from Trinamool Congress. He said she is an actress, she dances, a lot of things. And then he said that she should be bound to a tree and she should be whipped. So when the anchor, TV anchor asked him that, don't you know that this is not allowed in the Indian constitution? He said, no, I never knew that this is not allowed. Is it? He was surprised that it is not allowed by the Indian constitution. That means what? He wants only Sharia law in India. He wants Sharia law to be followed in West Bengal. He says that openly. He says, I wish, I pray to Allah that 50 crore of the Indians, Hindus, they are given such a disease that they die from that disease. He claims, he openly claims that. And yet he forms a party called Indian Secular Front. So that is secularism for India.
I'm concerned. I'm concerned in multiple facts. Not only you talked about jizya, but you talked about something that is getting imposed for non-TMC people, somebody who has not supported TMC. How is that allowed from a court perspective? And I have seen the recent news coming from Calcutta High Court that they're pretty happy in terms of the steps taken by Mamata Banerjee. And they also claimed the time the violence happened, there was no state government. So they're literally giving a pass. I'm concerned about it. What is going to happen? Give us some sense on that.
Suppose today something happens to me. When I go to the police station, the police is not going to take my FIR. No. So what if something happens to me and it is not registered? Naturally, when you are going to the court, you have no FIRs. And that's why the High Court and the Milords say that nothing happened. Mamta did very well. There are no cases. I was speaking to some people from Jadavpur, where I stay, it's very near. They went to the police station. The police said, we are ready to take, for once, the police said, we are ready to accept an FIR. But you will give us one FIR. The TMC people will come and give us 10 FIRs in your name. Will you be able to handle it? No. In villages, when they are burning the houses, suppose an old lady or an old gentleman gets burnt, they are not allowing the ambulance to come in. The moment an ambulance enters, you take that patient to the hospital, it gets registered. So when you are not allowing this to get these incidents to get registered, so naturally what will the High Court say? Even the opposite side, they are not able to present anything. There are no FIRs. Since 2011, they are not sending any data about the crimes that is happening against the women in West Bengal to the central government. They just don't bother to send.
What about the Human Rights Watch and all these foul crying gangs who talks about women rights and human rights and minority rights? What about them?
You will never find them anywhere here in West Bengal. National Women's Commission, our National Women's Commission chairperson, she was here last week. A lot of people, a lot of women met her. Do you know the top boss in the Kolkata police? He refused to meet her. He said, I don't have the time to meet you. She had to go back to Delhi without meeting him. She is the chairperson of the National Women's Commission. They did not just bother to meet her. And Amnesty International and all those gangs, they are there only for Kashmir, not for Bengal. They will shout for the terrorists. They are there to shout only for the terrorists. What is happening in Bengal is worse than what happened. Within maybe the next 6 months, you will find something in Bengal which is worse than Kashmir. Just wait and watch. Wait and watch for another 6 months.
So that was the concern that all of us in the NRI community has been predicting for a while, that 1990s Kashmir Hindu exodus in Kashmir is going to be seen in West Bengal. So you're saying it's not going to be too long, then just 5-6 months from now.
Because there's an open order to kill them, to throw them out. People are leaving the villages. They are going to our neighboring states. They are going to Jharkhand. They are going to Assam. They are going to Odisha. So naturally the villages are empty. You scare them in the villages.
So let me ask this. How is it, first of all, how is it legal from a democratic country like India? It's not an Islamic country. It's not a Sharia imposed country. How is that legal in West Bengal, in one of the state? How is it even legal for a winning party to get a pass like that? Why and how police, the protector of our community, has turned like that and supporting a Sharia imposing communist party? I don't get it. You explain it to us.
Police. You were talking about police. Right now, Mamta Banerjee, before the election, she was the police minister. So they act according to her whims and fancies. From yesterday, she has imposed a lockdown of 15 days. And today, a lockdown of 15 days. And today morning, when 4 of her party people, 2 MLAs and 2 party people, senior party leaders, when they were arrested by CBI, you should have seen the TMC people in hordes throughout the day near that area where those 4 people were kept. Mamta Banerjee, she went there. She sat down in the CBI office for 6 hours. She sat down on a dharna for 6 hours. When she entered that area, she saw those thousands of people standing on the road in spite of it being a lockdown. When she came out of that place after 6 hours, there were more than thousands of people. Did she utter a word? Her police stood there. They stood and watched. They did nothing. Stones and bricks, this size of bricks, were pelted at the CRPF Jawans. Police was standing and watching and doing nothing. So you are asking about how is it possible? Sometimes we, those who stay in Bengal, sometimes we think, are we really in Bengal? Is Bengal still a part of India? Because we don't see the Constitution of India being followed here. She follows something else.
We know what she follows. It's a combination of Islamo-communist fascist regime. We get it. And before that also, West Bengal was under a pure communist party's um, regime. So West Bengal has seen all that we rest of us may not have seen. We have seen that. I'm from Tripura. By the way, Tripura was also ruled by Communist Party for 25 years before BJP got in there, just recently. So we have seen the riots and dangas and burning and looting and killing of opposition. We have seen that. Let me ask you this. You mentioned that West Bengal population have changed. Based on the documentation, it still shows 64% Hindus. Is it true? That I feel that it's probably not true number at all. What is going on in terms of population over there?
When did we have the last census? 2011. After that, Mamata Banerjee has said no census in West Bengal, no NPR in West Bengal. And after 2011, it has been only the illegal Rohingyas who are entering India, who are entering West Bengal, and they are all being given voter card, Aadhaar card, so that she can make them Indian citizens. So the figure that you are getting is before 2011. You get it done now, it's a complete change.
So that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask you. There was a quote for Mamata Banerjee saying that Bangladeshi illegals are Indian citizens, and that probably rephrasing it. How is that legal in a democratic country of India? And how is she able to propagate this for not one term, two term, now third term? What is going on over there? Give us the sense, because it doesn't make any sense to us because it's not logical at all.
Do you know we have that government Manrega job cards? The government, central government Manrega job cards. Those are given to the Bangladeshis. Those job cards go to the Bangladeshis. Man, you people are, you are sitting there, you are thinking, how can it be? But
Right.
we here, we can see it is very normal. Very normal. I am not talking about the Muslims who stayed in India after the partition. They are Indians. I am talking only about the infiltrators. She brought them here. She got them passes. She gave them everything. I told you she made them Indian citizens. And it is them that she is using during the polls. She
So
uses them for her polling dangas.
So basically, the dangas that is getting created
Yes.
right now, these are the people who's actually killing people. So basically, we can literally say it black and white: Muslims are killing Hindus, and promoted and propagated and incited by state government of Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal.
State
Is this clear?
sponsored, state sponsored terrorism. One single liner.
What is BJP doing? That is the question that is coming from all over, and everybody that I speak with and everybody that I know of. What is the leadership of BJP doing? We know that there were rallies before the election. What now? That were not only just you, but several BJP karyakartas are getting attacked. Arrest warrant has been issued. People are fleeing their places. People are losing their land also. What now? What are they doing? What is it thinking? Because there was not a single statement. So we are worried.
Even our karyakartas are worried because every karyakarta, including me, we would always want to see that our leadership is there with us, especially during times of crisis. We are waiting. We are waiting for the BJP leadership. I do not really know what decision Modi ji or Amit Shah ji is taking for us, but I, as a person, uh, because after 2019, I really wanted Amit Shah ji to become the Home Minister. I literally prayed that he becomes the Home Minister. Right now, I feel he must be having something up his sleeve. He cannot, as a Home Minister, he cannot let Bengal become Kashmir again. He knows that very well. We consider him uh, Chanakya of Indian politics. So he may not be sitting, he may be thinking that he's not doing anything, but he must be sitting there and doing something so that we do not become Kashmir again. He will not allow that. At least that much faith the Karyakartas, I think they have on Amit Shahji. We are
But you
waiting
don't,
for him.
but you don't have any timelines, any information that is coming across when and how things are going to flare out.
The problem is whenever a Karyakarta calls me up, first thing I ask them, do you need food? Because all the husbands have fled. So we are going to their home and giving them rice, dal, potatoes, whatever, soya, and whatever we can. We are collecting money from the NRIs and giving them. The first thing they are saying, Didi, you are giving us food. That's good. Okay. When are we going to return home? When will you help us to return home? So that I, as a person, I cannot do it. It has to be done from the central. With the central forces, deploy them in the villages, keep them there for months. But I do not really know what the legalities are. Can you keep a central force in a village for a month? Otherwise, if you bring them back, put them in their houses, and you leave them, the same night the girls will be molested, killed, raped, I do not know what. So that's a big risk.
Rakhi ji, I understand that you have an arrest warrant and you have to go or your lawyers are working. Could I get some visibility what was in the arrest warrant at all?
They
Did they
say,
pay me for?
according to them, it's on my social media posts
Okay.
because I have been very vocal against Mamta Banerjee, all her scams and everything. And according to them, I have tried to instigate Hindu Muslim riots, which I have never done. So they have issued a notice on that,
Mhm.
and my lawyers are working on it. Let's see what happens. Somehow they want that Rakhi Mitra should keep her mouth shut. She should not talk because everybody knows that I am very vocal against her, against that one person and her mayor Firad Hakim, the man who had said, who had pointed out to an area in Kolkata and had told somebody, look, that's the mini Pakistan that I have made in Kolkata. That's the mayor of Kolkata, Firad Hakim. So I speak against him also a lot. But I have never instigated any riots or anything of that sort, yet they are pressing charges against me.
I would take your incident and literally use America's incidents that's happening over here. Whether President Trump said anything right or wrong didn't matter. They would pick and choose information and use it, saying that he incited violence, which we know for a fact that he was not involved, even not involved in the January 6th riots that happened. Several information came through that there were Antifas and BLM rioters within the people, and they instigated the riots. So it's not very different from what's happening here today in America versus what has been happening in Indian soil for decades. Now you mentioned then after you're not pointing out the Muslims who stayed in India after the partition, but majority of them actually voted for partition. So I do ask a question, why did they stay in India or Indian soil? What was their goal?
I do not know. They should have left because the partition happened on religious lines.
Correct.
You wanted a different country, you got a different country, you got more land than you were supposed to get. You should have gone. Sitting here, abusing the country, staying here on this soil, I don't think it's acceptable anymore.
Right. So now
Still,
this let's
still, I do not blame them because they are staying here. I do not blame them. But I will blame the Rohingyas, those infiltrators who are on a killing and looting spree and a raping and molesting spree in West Bengal. That is the Rohingyas who are doing it. I still believe it is them because whatever information comes to me, it's them. We have settlements outside Kolkata also, Rohingya settlements outside Kolkata also, Kolkata city also. She has put up settlements.
Is Abbasuddin Siddiqui a Rohingya?
No?
But he is an Indian Muslim, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yes.
then, so let's connect back some dots over here. Let's say it's Rohingyas who are being used in order to create and propagate these riots. But we have a gentleman called Abbasuddin Siddiqui who didn't know anything about the Indian constitution, who are trying to actually impose Sharia under a fake name of Indian Secular Front. If this person is an Indian Muslim, how is he really an Indian Muslim if he doesn't have an agenda against the Hindus?
You are forgetting one more name, Abbasuddin Siddiqui's brother. You remember he had said, पुलिस को 15 मिनट हटा लो,
Yes,
फिर देख लो हम क्या कर सकते हैं. He is
right.
also an Indian Muslim.
Well, we have an organizations over here, not just one, but various, starting with Indian American Muslim Council, IAMC, known by IAMC. There are several of them. Stand with Kashmir. There are organizations like Hindus for Human Rights, nothing to do with Hindu rights. It is all minority rights, but the name is used as a Hindus for Human Rights. And there are several of them, and a Christian organization like Fiakona, Indian Christians organization. So they're all working hand in hand to defame and denigrate India. And recently they were involved in declaring India as a country of particular concern, saying that state government, the Modi government is pushing minority torture. He is the one who's instigating the torture. After he came, minorities are getting tortured in India. That's what's the impression that was given in America, and that's what most of the people in America knows. You mentioned about development and Kolkata Salt Lake. Let me ask you this question. This is the most developed place in Kolkata. Today, this is the place where the girls are getting threatened, the fathers are getting shamed, saying you have to hand over the daughters and etc. What the development did for Salt Lake then? If the Hindus are so well read, highly educated people, the development did to Salt Lake what? I would like to understand that, because majority of the time we hear that development is going to sort out these issues. I have a different perspective. I don't think development is going to solve these issues. It's an ideological battle. Vijayanagar was most developed in one time of our history. That was literally erased in a fraction of a second. So tell me, what did development do for Kolkata Salt Lake when today the Hindu fathers are facing this situation?
Unfortunately for Bengal, Bengalis are very literate. They consider themselves intellectuals, they consider themselves literate. But unfortunately, those 30, 35 years of communism and Mamta Banerjee's 10 years, it has broken the spinal cord of each and every Bengali. And when you talk about Hindus, Bengalis and Hindus, it is we Hindus who are to blame for our condition. We are not united. We never are united. We have seculars, we have liberals, all different sorts amongst Hindus. Do you find seculars in Muslims or liberals in Muslims? Muslims are Muslims. Muslims are Muslims. They do not have these different parts. I am a secular, I am a liberal, nothing of that sort. It is the fault lies in us. We Hindus have become so meek. We are used to becoming slaves. We are used to becoming slaves. And that is the reason we are not getting united. But this time, if you go by the data, a lot of Hindus, the percentage shows that a good percentage of Hindus have voted for BJP in West Bengal. A good percentage. Maybe they won because they got the Muslim vote also. But the Hindu unity has started in West Bengal. And that is what we should continue on. We should Start growing that. Get that feeling into them that get united, or else you'll be seeing another partition. And when last partition happened, you had India, you had a person like Bidhan Chandra Roy, who gave you a place in West Bengal. This time, with this huge population, no state is going to take you. So that should go into the heads of the Hindus of Bengal, that we do not want a second partition. So get united. Leave aside everything. Actually, the problem with Bengalis are they read too much. Eating of beef, having beef is a status symbol for them. Reading Marx, knowing about Lenin, that's education for them. But if you say that you haven't read the Ramayana, you haven't read the Mahabharata, oh, that's that's a BJP type. That's that little bit lower than my standard. Reading Marx, reading Lenin, that means your status goes up. Reading the Mahabharata and Ramayana, your status goes down. They do not teach their children to read these books. Why the Indian government? Why the NCRT, the Central Board? Why don't they introduce these books in our curriculum? Why do we have to read Shakespeare? You tell me, in ICSC, ISC, why do we have to read Shakespeare's dramas? Why don't we read Mahabharata and Ramayana? Indian government is there. We have come with a huge majority this time. Couldn't we change that in our curriculum? Why don't we change in our history books? The history book starts, if you go to the ICSC books, the history chapter starts with Islam, Christianity, and when they talk about the Hindu kings, it is only in one chapter they finish off all the Hindu kings, especially the South Indian kings who were so powerful. It's only in one chapter. Why can't we change that? Why can't we force them to change that? The government can always force them that these are the books you have to make compulsory as your curriculum.
It's interesting that as a common person, we have the same concerns, but you are a part of the BJP. You are one part of the totem pole of the BJP. You have the same concerns. BJP came with majority, second term. They certainly could have changed it. And
exactly. Why don't our children know that? It could have been the duty of the government to do it. Why didn't they do it? You know why? Because we are always too secular. We try to please everybody. We try to please everybody.
Well, today,
people call us, people say BJP is a communal party. But unfortunately, no. We are more secular than the Congress. Otherwise, with such a huge majority, we could have done these things.
Right. I was hearing a talk just a day ago. There was a much talk about changing Hindu dynamics, meaning the population has to go up for Hindus. I asked this question with greatest grim in my mind today, that when Hindus were thrown out of Kashmir, they were literate, they were developed,
yes,
and they had even land as well, and they were still thrown out. In Bengal in 1946, Noakhali, same case. 90s Kashmir, also same case. 2021 in India, it is the same case. How does increasing population of Hindus going to change this matter at all? Because I don't see increasing population is going to try to at least address the issue of ideology here.
I heard that discussion too, the one which you are referring to. And you know, at that time, the one person I was remembering was, I don't know whether it's going to be accepted or not, it was Sanjay Gandhi.
Huh. Okay.
I was really remembering that man, that to reduce the population of the Muslims, you need a man like Sanjay Gandhi. See, increasing the population in a country like India, we do not stay in America. we are not a rich country. Having two or more children, it's very difficult to give them education. You don't have huge salaries or pay packages. It's very difficult even to educate one child. Schooling is there, tuitions are there, and then the college. You have so many children and you are not able to educate them, then what's the use? Just for the sake of increasing population, you cannot have too many children. So the first thing that we need is population control bill. That has to come. That if you have more than two children, you will not be getting government facilities. All the facilities that you are getting from the government, you will not get anything. That is the only option. Hindus having more children, that is not going to change the scenario. How will you educate your child? What are you going to give them? There are no jobs in India. Like other parts of the world, there are no jobs in India also. Your children will grow up without jobs. Are you going to send them to the streets to beg? You cannot do that. So first control the population with population control bill. And that has to be accepted by all. So before population control bill, what we want is UCC, Universal Civil Code. The law has to be same for the entire country. No separate laws for the Muslims, nothing. If a law is a law for a Hindu, it has to be the same for the Muslims too. First go for Universal Civil Code and then go for population control bill. You have to control the population. No way increase it. You cannot increase the burden on the country. I do not support that idea at all. You cannot do it. And that will not bring about any change in ideology because as Hindus, I told you, we don't even teach our children what's written in the Gita or in the Mahabharata or the Ramayana. There the fault lies with us Hindus. We don't. Like I taught my daughter right from a very young age, I taught her to read a lot of books and she has read all the books that I wanted her to read. But most of the parents, they don't do it. So increasing the population is not going to solve your problem. First is Universal Civil Code. That has to be brought in by the government, a government which is in majority now in both the houses. Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, we have majority. Pass that bill. Then go for the population control bill. It has to be accepted by the whole country.
How is it going to be implemented? You see, we talked about NPR, CAA, etc. How is it going to even getting implemented in India when the minority population doesn't even regard the Indian constitution at all?
That's why I said Universal Civil Code. That's a Universal Civil Code. The law has to be same for everybody. You cannot be going on practicing your Islamic laws. You are a minority in India. We make a law for the entire country. Law cannot be different for different religion. It cannot be different. You cannot please everybody at a time. It's very difficult. You cannot please. Suppose you are trying to please the Muslims, you are displeasing us because right now we are the taxpayers. You are taking our tax money and it's being spent on the Muslims. Why should I allow that? Why should I allow? It's my hard-earned money and I'm paying tax. I'm paying tax for the development of the country. I'm not paying tax to please the Muslims there. So you make a law, Universal Civil Code, a law which will be equal for the entire country. First you implement that. See how that goes. Then you bring in your population control bill. You will not get ration. Whatever free you are getting from the government, you will not get it. If you don't want to stay in India, go and stay in Pakistan. You're most free to go. If you think that this law is against you, you go and stay in Pakistan. That country was made for you, by you. Go and stay there. There should be no qualms about it. You made a country for yourselves. You wanted a country. If you are not liking what is in the Indian constitution, you go and stay in your favorite country.
Many concerns. First, how come UCC hasn't come yet? 2, why NCRT hasn't changed yet? 3, all these media narratives against Modi government and BJP is saying that they are working against the minority and etc. in a secular country. Why is the Indian constitution is not changed? Why is the secular word is not thrown out?
That is my question too. The secular word was inserted by Indira Gandhi during emergency. Did she seek the permission of both the houses? No. It was emergency period. So when she put in that word, she did not do it constitutionally. It
Hmm.
was done without the permission of both the houses because the country was under emergency. So why can't you throw it out? Why do you need permission from both the houses to remove a word in the constitution which was put in there unconstitutionally? You do not need it. So why are you fear? Whom are you scared of displeasing? This is what bothers me. Whom are you scared of displeasing? We gave you a huge majority. 303. That's a huge number. We gave you because we wanted certain things to be changed, certain things to be changed in our history. Why that isn't being done? It surprises me as it's surprising you. I'm equally surprised because that's the question I ask myself every day. Why isn't my government doing it? And when I ask that openly, people say, you are doubting. No, I'm not doubting. But we are wasting years. We are wasting months. We could have done it last year. You also know it. Lots of bills were passed during the lockdown period. Why this small word couldn't be removed? She did not bother about any constitution. Did she bother about any constitution when she used to go in for president's rule? She never bothered. So whom are you bothered? Why aren't we getting president's rule in West Bengal right now? Had it been Indira Gandhi, she would have enforced it.
If there was Muslim people were killed in such manner instead of Hindus, do you think the government would have been actually placing a precedent rule? It's Hindu lives, I feel like, doesn't matter to anybody.
If Muslims were killed in West Bengal
Like this, like the way
in the
burned
same manner,
houses, thrown out and hanged from tree, whipped and killed and raped, let's say, if this is how the Muslim community was treated in West Bengal or even
you
in India,
even if
one person,
one person was hurt,
right, even one person.
what would have happened? What Mamta Banerjee did today. Four of her ministers were taken for questioning. She went and sat there the whole day and she ensured that they get bail. Mamta Banerjee is one person who will give her life for the Karyakartas. You just touch one of her Karyakartas, she will be running around in the streets and God knows doing what.
So, is there a difference of leadership I'm noticing over here?
Yes, not difference in leadership, a difference. I feel there's no empathy. There's no empathy for so many Karyakartas who are dying. I get phone calls, and one of these days, I had to give that girl a sort of legal advice. My daughter, who is a lawyer, she said, let me do it. She took the phone from me, and later on, she told me that today I understand that every time you get a call from any woman, Karyakarta, after the call gets disconnected, why do you sit and cry? Because I feel helpless. I cannot do anything for them. I do not have that power to do anything for them. Whereas I am seeing those girls dying every day, getting raped, molested. Every time they pick up the phone, people are calling them up and saying, today night we are going to come to your house to rape you. How does it feel? And there's no empathy. Why? Our lives don't matter. Karyakarta's life don't matter.
So, what I'm hearing from you is Mamta Banerjee, no matter how cruel she is, no matter where our empathy is, she's actually there for our people.
Yes,
Is that true?
it's true. You ask anybody. If anybody says she is not there, they are lying. She is there. She is there for her karyakartas. She has always been. That is the reason she is a mass leader. That is the reason, in spite of the people of West Bengal knowing that she faked her accident, entire 1 month she went around in a wheelchair. Everybody knew that she was faking it. Yet she won. Yet she won.
So I think we're actually getting to a point. I was trying to pinpoint as to why Mamta Banerjee won. Not only just she lies, but entire Islamo-communist fascist parties, they have the deceptive kind of attitude and activities, and corruption is part of it. And as you mentioned before, in terms of Marx and Lenin and etc., they get inspiration from that. I think there is a reason for it. I think they're very strong. Doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong, but they are there for their
United.
united with along with the people. They're able to push propagandas, and that inspires a lot of young minds.
And our propaganda, the BJP propaganda, is at its worst. We were not able to create the narrative that we should have. See, we know that the entire left ecosystem, they are working against us, creating a narrative. What did we do?
Right.
We could not create even a single narrative. Shaheen Bagh happened. We let it happen for months on end. Then we had the Delhi riots. We let the farmers' agitation go on and on and on. Why are we not able to nip these things while it's still in the bud stage? Again, I'm asking you, what are we scared of? Why can't we take decisions? The moment it starts, why can't we stop them there itself? What is wrong there?
Is there a mentality over there that if you act too quick, then you might be reviewed as you haven't waited and see, or you are just going ahead with some kind of futuristic thoughts. You haven't even seen what's going to happen. What I am noticing from here, not only they are not cut at the bud stage, but also completely cycle is over. It's supposed to be taken care of at that time. Even then, there is no action.
No action.
So, Shaheen Bagh, you mentioned, it prolonged. Delhi riots happened. The international media took off even before that. There was no narrative building. There is no reason for you to just throw off a report that came off USARF saying it doesn't matter. But it does matter when we are seeing what's happening internationally. It matters.
It matters. It matters. I really do not know. Sometimes I think, what is the think tank in Delhi doing? People are sitting in Delhi. It is, all these things are happening in Delhi. You tell me, how could those Khalistanis go and fly that tricolor on the 15th of August? How could they do it? In Delhi, when the Delhi police is ours, Delhi police is ours. You could not even control that. It does not give a good image. We are trying to fight it. Ah, yes, Modi ji hai, sab mumkin hai. It is not working. It is not working.
Yeah, you mean the 26th of January, the Republic
26
Day.
January, 26
Right.
January, right. 26
The Khalistan protest is still going on. And what we know is that the coronavirus, the second wave, actually came through UK Punjab route and through all kinds of riots and protests and dharnas.
January.
Why is it not getting addressed? It's mind boggling to me that as a common person sitting elsewhere, I'm seeing the same thing that you are seeing right in the ground. And that is concerning. I also want to make sure that I bring you this situation here. The same way they have ousted President Trump, tactics are implemented exactly the same way in order to oust Modi. There is a fear now that there is no other party who listens to Hindus at all. If Modi is ousted, then what? There are already campaigns running to for Modi to resign and
Fine,
using the same kind of corona tactics.
fine. If Modi ji resigns, then who?
Then who?
Rahul Gandhi. Do we really want Rahul Gandhi as the Prime Minister of the country? Who is it going to be? Because 2019 we have seen the same thing. They lot of regional parties along with Rahul Gandhi, they came together. They had formed one Mahat Gathbandhan, and immediately after that, 10 of them from all 10 different parties, they all wanted to become Prime Minister. And it broke up. So if not Modi, then who? Whom do you want as your Prime Minister? You ask these parties, they will have no answer to it. Yet they will say, we do not want Modi. Then whom do you want to bring? Rahul Gandhi cannot be an option. That half-wit drug addict fellow cannot be an option. He does not know what he is talking. And most of the time, when he sees there's trouble in the country, he escapes to Thailand. That's his only place. He escapes. He is losing in the election, he escapes. Something terrible is going to happen, he escapes. You cannot be having a Prime Minister like that. But even Modi ji, right now, he should also start thinking that why so many voices are coming up. Anti-Modi voices should be, I don't know, he should take care of it. He should also think about it, that why these voices are coming up, and take the criticism as one should in a democratic country. Right now, if you speak anything against the government in India, now this is the latest trend in India, immediately you are labeled as anti-national. That should not happen. Suppose I see a fault in my own daughter. Of course, I will criticize her. I have the right as a mother to criticize her. The same with us. I am in a party. Being in my party, if I do not have the right to point out its mistakes, then I do not belong to the party. I am an outsider who would like to see the party go down. So that cannot happen. So criticism is good. Try to accept criticism and try to think what is going wrong, why you are not able to control so many things that is happening at a time. Like I will like to tell you, during the Bengal elections, Modi ji came to Bengal 32, Modi ji and Amit Shah ji both came 32 times. There was a lot of hue and cry on that. Even Mamta Banerjee used to shout every day, COVID situation is worsening in the country. Why is the Prime Minister coming here every day? So put a stop to it. You have your lieutenants there. You have a state unit here. Make them work. You take care of the COVID situation. You don't need to come to Bengal so many times. So small things, these things, it blows up. So before it blows up, stop it there itself. That should be done.
Right. I'm concerned on many different fronts. It's not just West Bengal, Kerala, Kashmir, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra next. We see this is happening everywhere and the narrative doesn't change. And you talk about narrative building the media. We have more anti-Modi, anti-Hindu media than a Hindu focused, or at least somebody who's pro Hindu media channel, let's say. Very few. 10 times more Marxist channels are there who are constantly, consistently bringing down the Hindu nationalism and Modi government. Even if you speak about Modi, you are a bhakta. I'm here. I cannot vote for Modi. I don't have the citizenship of India, but I am Bhakt. I'm nationalist, supremacist, extremist, radicals. That's the narrative that is going on. I haven't seen anything from Modi government to carve this kind of anti-India forces. Kangana Ranaut recently was suspended in Twitter. What did they do,
Nothing.
and why not? Why
Uh,
not?
Mahesh Vikram Hegde, you know him, na? From Karnataka.
Yes,
He is
yes.
a big supporter of BJP. 2 years back, when he was imprisoned for 3 months, nobody helped him. Still, he is a Bhakt because we follow the ideology. He used to write at that time that I did not get help from BJP, but throughout my life, I will remain a BJP supporter. BJP is the largest party, maybe in the world. Why aren't we able to bring in media or television channels into our fold?
I'm not advocating for lying, but at least show the truth.
I'm talking about truth only. Why,
Exactly.
when I'm sitting in West Bengal, I am seeing only those channels, those who are promoting Mamta Banerjee. There is only one channel which shows the truth of Bengal, that is Arnab Goswami. Otherwise, we do not have a single channel. Why is it so? BJP is the largest party in the world, and if even if God comes and tells me, I'm not going to believe it that we do not have resources. We have resources. Then why aren't we building on that?
I also see appeasement from BJPs today in different parts of India. Why is that happening?
Like appeasement, like give me an example.
I mean, a lot of Muslims are coming under the fold of BJP, saying that Modi is great, but at the end of the day, they work for Muslims' ideology. I don't understand that. If you have already defined BJP is a Hindu nationalist party and it's against your ideology, you are being supported and put up in positions and etc. At the same time, AMU hasn't gone down. The Jinnah's photos in AMU has gone down, hasn't gone down. Jadavpur University can beat up Hindu nationalist students. Nothing happens. I'm seeing tremendous amount of inconsistency and appeasement from the government also putting Muslims for the Muslim votes. Why are they going to vote for you?
And they are not
Today,
voting. And they are not voting. Not a single vote did we get this time. Entire vote went to Mamta Banerjee, in
so
spite
that
of the appeasement.
so tell me about this. The appeasement really doesn't work, and that's my final conclusion. But I'd like to hear from you. Why BJP is trying to do that? What is the motivation? Are they trying to get like a word or something from international media or something? What is it that is going on in order for them to do the appeasement? They want to prove they're secular.
Yep.
Are they going to try to prove that they are better than INC Congress? Are they trying to say that we are more Marxist than you thought about? What is it that they're going on? I don't get it.
See, appeasement policy has always been there for all the parties, except for BJP. All the parties have been doing appeasement politics. Everybody knows that. But now that BJP is doing it, it is maybe, it's my viewpoint, that Modi ji has reached such a level in international politics. He somehow doesn't want to prove himself to be a Hindu leader anymore. Only for Hindus, he doesn't want to prove that. He doesn't want to prove that. He wants to prove that he is a leader for all. Of course, he is a leader for all. But at the end of the day, you should know that none of these Muslims whom you are appeasing, they will never vote for BJP. They will go and press the button of Nota, but not for BJP. What happened in Bengal should have shown Modi ji that Modi ji, there you went wrong. None of the Muslims voted for you. None of them. We didn't get any votes from the Muslims. N block went to Mamta Banerjee. N block of the communists, of the Congress, and her own. N block was voted for TMC. We had thought we will make a dent. Nothing. Nothing happened.
I can literally, take those situations over there in West Bengal and place it over here. Similar situations, Trump was called as an Islamophobe and etc. But he was trying to guard the borders of this country to make sure that people, the legal citizens, are safe and secured from illegal immigration, and the burden was not placed on us, and the tax is not constantly raised. Today, few months into new administration, we have high gas prices, food prices have gone up, the border is a mess. Our quote unquote African American, South Asian Kamala Harris as the vice president has not even visited the border to understand what's going on. She's quote unquote manager in charge. Everything that is happening over here has happened in India for decades. And I'd like to make sure that people understand how difficult the situation is in India, even with 4 times more population over there. And on top of it, the ability to procure and buy. The people are not rich. So issues becomes even more dangerous in India than what it is over here. And we saw Kamala Harris's book was given to, or are being given to, the illegal immigrant children books. You see what's happening over here, and she's getting the dollar amount for those books from the government, from our tax money. She's being paid, and it's okay. No, but not a single large media house is publishing this. So they are controlling the media. The Marxist and Leninist, Stalinists, they know how to control media. They know how to create narratives. They know when to scream, when not to scream. Whether it's Amnesty National, whether it's IAMC, Indian American Muslim Council, they haven't raised any voice what's going on in West Bengal. On the similar day, the meeting in IRF over here, they were talking about Palestine. These groups. I am worried. Where do we go from here? You tell us a little bit in terms of from your arrest warrant that came to you. I have heard and I have a feeling that as soon as you go to the police station, they're going to put you in there, lock you up, and you won't even have an opportunity to give your statements or anything. What happens over there? Give us some sense, because this is going to happen here, and I'm afraid this is going to happen in America as well.
See, they will call you. They will call you for an investigation. They will say, we are not satisfied with your answers. They will take you into judicial custody. And once you are in judicial custody, this ecosystem that you are talking about, it is there in the courts also.
Yes.
It works for them. Then your harassment starts. You will not get the bail. You go on and on for bail, you will not get it. And right now with the COVID situation, it's all the more worse because they are all doing it virtually. They don't work. Most of the time they don't work. And right now they will not be hearing your case. You go sit in a jail for 2 months, 5 months. You do not know whether you're going to come back alive or not. That is the situation. That is the reason I did not go. I will go to meet them only once I get an anticipatory bail. Otherwise, I will not meet them. And otherwise, I am right now, I have some COVID symptoms too. I will not be able to go and meet them personally. If they want to have a video conference, that they can have, because with these symptoms, I'm coughing and I have no smell and taste.
Sure.
So I should not be going to the station too. First, I should recover from my symptoms, get anticipatory bail, and then go and meet them.
The whole entire situation of the law enforcement or police and the courts judicial system is happening over here too. The concern is that the law and justice should be blind. It should protect the folks, the following the law. Unfortunately, this is happening over here too. I'm sure you have followed BLM case. The Shrobin really didn't get a fair trial at all. There was tremendous amount of issues in terms of juries selection also, and they were getting threatened, and there was malfunction within. He's not going to get a fair trial. We know that. We know that the anti how do I say that? We know that rioters are ready to start burning and looting and destroying communities. And they're all on a standby mode, waiting for a call. Where is the call going to come from? Nobody knows. Nobody was able to pinpoint who is doing that. The bricks that you mentioned earlier in our talk, the bricks and sticks, everything was provided for riots. Where did they come from? Who
It
provided?
happened. You remember it happened in the Delhi riots too.
Yes.
Those bricks were kept on the terrace. Who
Yes.
kept them? Today also the same thing happened. They just need a phone call. And who is that person who is calling? How did they get? They just went there to protest. How did they get such this size bricks in the middle of a city, and that too in a posh area? It doesn't lie around here and there. That means it is sent to them.
Right.
Somebody gave it to them. It
Yes.
maybe it came in cars or trucks or whatever, but it was sent to them. So this is the entire system that's running. You are
So
being provided with everything at the right moment, at the right call.
yes,
And
and that's where I
we
don't
are
understand.
unprepared. We are always unprepared.
Yes,
We
we're always on a defense
especially,
mode.
and especially the Hindus, you won't even find a stick in our house to
Yes,
defend ourselves. Suppose somebody comes at night with a knife or something, we don't even have a stick. That is
right.
the pathetic condition of the Hindus.
Absolutely, absolutely. What is CBI and NSA doing? What are they doing? Why aren't they able to pinpoint what's going on?
Today, see, today the CBI came with such a big show and got them arrested and this, that, and then they went and got bail. Now CBI is running to Delhi, Supreme Court. I think there's going to be a hearing there. I really do not know why every time CBI comes unprepared. Don't they do their homework and come? Why do they fall flat on their face every time? Every time this happens. And we feel so bad. Today we were feeling at least, okay, these four corrupt men, they'll be taken into judicial custody. What happened? By evening, they signed bail bonds, and that to 50,000, and they got bail. Out.
Hmm.
The people are celebrating. The TMC people are celebrating. They are saying, see, Jai Bangla. That's the latest slogan. Jai Bangla, Jai Bangla. We got our bail.
Now you mentioned about slogans. That reminds me about Khela Hobe.
Kala Hobe, yes. That is the slogan they are still giving. They gave that same slogan to my daughter too. I was attacked one day when I went out with one of the candidates. Before attacking us, they gave the same slogan. That is a slogan that Mamta Banerjee has told them they will use that slogan when they attack. And that slogan is also from Bangladesh, a Bangladeshi slogan, not a slogan of West Bengal. Joy Bangla is the official slogan of Bangladesh.
Huh.
So all slogans also taken from Bangladesh.
Interesting. In the report that came out in Hindu Post for Hindu Post, you mentioned several statistics. 100,000 plus are displaced, homeless right now, moved out of West Bengal and in Assam and etc., Odisha and perhaps Jharkhand. Villages affected 2,000, almost 3,000, severely 300, molested women, 6,126, raped 170, murdered 18 BJP Karkarta.
That
That
was on that date, on
correct.
6th, and that has gone up. After
Correct.
that, we had another 7 or 8 people murdered.
So you are saying that today the number is almost 25?
Yep.
25 people. There is no cases.
No cases. No
But is
FIR taken.
okay, no cases, no FIRs. But what do I have? Do we have any social media post, any pictures, anything? People, everybody has phone now in their hand. Do we
We
have
have
any?
we have the pictures. We have the pictures. But you do not, until and unless you have an FIR, how do you go to court with it? Until and unless a woman comes up and goes to the thana and police station and tells them that she has been raped, though she knows who those people are, there's no
Well,
case
let
for
me
them.
let me explain a couple of things over here. I think we have an option. There are groups over here, as I mentioned before, IAMC, Fiacona, Stand with Kashmir, and etc. What they have done is created a report, false information. They also said things like where, let's say, somebody's family, a Muslim family, was not admitted in hospital because they are Muslims. There is no case, there is no FIR, there is nothing, but these reports are getting created by this organization in the United States, are being pushed to malign and defame India. What happens next is these organizations are, these reports are getting picked up by USCIRF, let's say, and they are using that to malign or target the entire country. So what I'm hearing from you, if there is no FIR, there is no court case. But these organizations from international ground is able to defame India no matter what, whether there is a case or not. What do we do in such case? Now we understand that police is not accepting FIR. Police is also aligned with TMC and Marxist organizations. There is not going to be an FIR. If you do an FIR, there will be 10 times more FIRs coming for you or from the other side. So we are totally unprepared at any given point of time. What do we do in such cases? If there is no case, if there is no court hearings, what do we do in such cases? I cannot, at this point of time, we cannot depend on Amnesty National, International, or any other human rights watch group. They have been infiltrated and they have an agenda. What do we do now? Hindus must live. This is a Hindu land. What do we do? Where do we go from here?
For us here,
Yes.
no way. Keep quiet. Do not talk about it. If you are giving the names of the people who have raped you, they will come back. They will come back. They will rape you again and they will burn down your house. Maybe you have a small 8-year-old girl child, even she will be raped. So, what does a village person do? What does a person from an interior village do? Keep quiet about it. In the cities, if you go to the police station, you get the same reply. What will you do? At the most, you will go to social media and you will post it that this is what has happened to me. But that cannot be done in the villages. Interior villages, they cannot do it. They have to live amongst the villagers. Once it comes out, see, rape is something that is still not acceptable in the villages. They just want to live. That is what they are saying. That we don't want to tell anything. No need of fighting for us. Just let us live. Let us live. If we tell you the names, they will come back. They will come and burn my house. They will beat my husband. They will beat my children. Maybe they will rape my small daughter too. And I will get raped again. It is better I will forget that I was working for BJP. I did this party and I will again become a housewife, which I used to be before. So I'm ready to forget everything. How will you help them?
So BJP is losing tremendous support right now, if I understand correct.
Because we are not able to go there. Even if I am going there, They will not tell me. They will not tell me. They will tell me, please, let us live in peace now. Even if I want to support, even if I tell them that come with me to the court,
Yeah,
I will get you, you will tell your whatever has happened to you in a sealed envelope. I do
yeah.
not even know who is who in the court. I do not know. That information also may get leaked out. Then what happens to that woman or that lady? Everywhere, everywhere there is infiltration. How will we protect them?
So, what does it mean at the end of the day? Hindu lives don't matter?
No, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. And we do not have enough organizations like them, like they have, to fight for us or to create narrative for us. I am not saying that spread false news, but what is happening, at least spread that. Let people come to know that this is happening.
True.
At least
We have.
this is high time the Hindus get together and fight for whatever is left.
Do you think West Bengal is going to become I was going to say Pakistan, but Bangladesh
You never
in good
know. You never
to
know. You never know. Some of my young Karyakrata brothers, they yesterday itself somebody was telling me that I fear that day that maybe I'll wake up one morning and see that there's no Indian tricolor here, it's the Bangladeshi flag.
which is what happened in Kashmir. Pakistan flag was being flown there.
Then what happens to us? The same thing that happened to the Kashmiri Pandits. They became refugees in their own country.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who has lived during that 1946, they know. My parents' side also were impacted. They were thrown out,
Now,
left the places, ended up in the Tripura side. And they were all trying to figure out where to go. Some went to the West Bengal side, some went to the northeast side, some left completely, went to America or Europe, let's say. This interview, I wanted to find out where do we go next. I wanted to find out what is happening and how do we solve this. I'm not finding any solution. There is no solution.
see, in India, sitting here in India, we cannot give you a solution because we are there on the street fighting with them every day. We do not have really time for solution because every day we get hundreds of calls to save them, to save our own people, to save the girls, to give shelter to our karyakartas. We really do not have time to give solutions. Now it is up to the NRI Hindus to come, stand with us, and help us stay alive at least. Because we do not know whether we are going to stay alive or not. Conditions are pathetic in the villages. It's pathetic.
It's
It's
extremely
pathetic. We
disappointing.
we just need to right now we need to live. Help us to do that.
We, NRI community has done protest on West Bengal, and from our side, we are trying to bring people together to at least stand up for West Bengal. This weekend, we are planning for something in a local area. I would like the entire universe to see exactly what's going on. This is not a West Bengal story, but this is going to be a story in our backyard in America pretty soon. We came here for a better life, just like most of the people who were thrown out in Bengal, Bangladesh at that time, Bengal, for West Bengal areas or Northeast area for better life. It doesn't matter where we go. It doesn't matter how far we run. It doesn't matter where we end up. At the end of the day, our fate comes back to the same thing, that we are being targeted, we are being attacked. Hindus are being falsely falsely targeted, maligned, and intimidated. We have no organization, no political party. Nobody wants to hear us. Not a single one, even in the United States. The system over here has been infiltrated as well. Not a single organization, not a single politician want to hear the plight of Hindus here. And is it because of money? Is it because how they're getting sold out, or their donation, where is it coming from? Is it because of money that they are doing that? Or is that how they literally take over the entire system? We don't have an answer. But what we heard from you today is quite disappointing. Not just that, but I think it is quite gruesome. And sitting far from West Bengal, Kerala, India as a whole, we are not going to be able to do much, but at least we can bring the truth to the world. And that's my goal. Hopefully somebody is going to hear this. Hopefully somebody is going to understand what's the situation. And I wish you all the best. I hope that somebody in the police, in the law enforcement, wakes up and they do the right thing. They do the right thing.
Unfortunately for us, it's just survival. Just survive for the next 5 years, wait for the next elections. Whoever is alive by that time, if you are ready to fight, throw them out. Otherwise, there's no option. Most of the people today, a woman Karyakarta, she called me, she wanted some money. She said, I'm going with my husband to some other state for 4 5 months because here I cannot stay. I cannot stay with those phone calls that are coming every 15 minutes. We are coming to your house to rape you. That's the terrible situation.
Is there any way to record this? Is there any way to record this conversation that's happening, at least broadcast? I mean, I'm here, at least you have a channel with me. Send it to me or other folks that, this is the phone call came today and this is exactly what they said.
Okay. Okay.
Can we do that?
Yes, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll get those calls, send it to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rakhi ji. I feel so down right now. The conversation, I was hoping to find a solution, but today I just have no words. I have no words. When these organizations are saying minorities in danger in India, I want you to remind them it's majority who is in danger in India. And let's make sure this message goes out that Hindus are in danger and we do not even have the state government supporting us and protecting us. With that, Rakhi ji, I thank you so much for your time today, giving me a lot of information. I'm hoping that somebody will listen to this and probably will come out with some solution to at least protect the people in a democracy where people are supposed to have the freedom of choice, freedom of vote, freedom of choosing the party they want to be aligning with, not to get burnt, not to be raped, not to be slaughtered, not to be hanged. I hope this our conversation wakes up at least a few people.
And at least we get, according to our constitution, at least we have the right to life. That is what matters to us. Right to life. We do not have that now.
I'm so sorry. I'm at a loss of word today. I just couldn't think of anything, how to formulate a solution. Thank you so much for giving me the time. I wish you all the best. Please stay safe. You have my phone. Just call if you need anything. I'll do everything that I am capable of. We are in the same situation in United States also, and that's something that of the folks in India also must understand, as a Hindu, as a Trump supporter, as a Modi supporter, we are in the same situation. Everything that you're feeling over there, we have felt it, and it is coming for us as well. So we're not far. We're just far from a distance in geographical perspective, but ideologically, we're not.
Exactly. Exactly.
Thank you so much, Rakhi ji. It was lovely connecting with you. I hope to talk to you soon again. Stay safe.
Okay. Thank you.